Live from the ABC7 Broadcast Center, this is ABC7 News at 5 on your side.
Tonight at 5, the search is on for a fourth suspect in what's been a tense and violent day in Paris after two different hostage situations ended in 7 deaths.
We're hopeful that the immediate threat is now resolved.
President Obama and other world leaders expressing their support for Paris as the terrorist threat grows. The 3-day terror spree in Paris now appears to be over.
That after the deadly attack on that newspaper, Charlie Hebdo, earlier this week. Today came 2 separate hostage situations, one at a printing plant, the other at a kosher grocery store in a Paris neighborhood. At the end of the day, 3 of the suspects were killed, and so were 4 hostages at that grocery store.
Now, as of this moment, the search is on for a female suspect who escaped as French officials were connecting the suspects to a serious terror group. Rebecca Cooper begins our team coverage from the newsroom. Rebecca.
Well, Leon and Allison, al-Qaeda leaders in Yemen are claiming credit for masterminding these attacks in France, while tonight French officials are warning Jewish residents to stay home during the Sabbath and not attend their neighborhood synagogues as the manhunt continues for the woman involved in today's attacks. Throughout the day, police and France's top tactical units dealt with 2 crises unfolding simultaneously. In Damartin, northeast of Paris, the 2 primary suspects believed responsible for Wednesday's killing of 12 at the Charlie Hebdo newspaper, brothers Saeed and Sharif Kouachi, today were holed up inside a printing facility, with at least 1 worker still trapped inside. While in Paris, hostages were trapped inside Hyper Cacher, a kosher supermarket in Port de Vincent, a well-known Jewish neighborhood. The suspects were said to be demanding the release of the Kouachi brothers, or they would kill all of their hostages. Shortly before 6 p.m. Paris time, gunfire and explosions erupted at both sites. French media report the Kouachi brothers came out firing. The worker hiding inside escaped, but both brothers were killed. Initial reports indicate at least 1 police officer was wounded in the crossfire. Minutes later, gunfire broke out inside the kosher market where several hostages were being held. One suspect, Amali Koulibaly, was killed. Some of the hostages also died in a hail of bullets. But the second suspect, Hayat Boumediene, said to be Koulibaly's girlfriend, managed to escape, along with some of the hostages. As police continue the manhunt for her, the other big question tonight, are more attacks still being planned? U.S. officials say they believe Saeed Kouachi trained in Yemen with AQAP, al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. The Kouachi brothers and Koulibaly are said to be connected through a terrorist cell known as Bout Choman that sought to radicalize and train French youth to fight. Reporting live in the newsroom, Rebecca Cooper, ABC7 News.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Now, for more on that terror group and the suspects responsible for the Paris attacks, we turn to Richard Reed. He's been digging into the suspects' backgrounds. He joins us now from our satellite center. Okay, Rich, tell us, what did you find?
Yeah, Leon, fascinating stuff. This group was Western authorities' greatest fear. Close associates were members of the Bout Choman group that sought to recruit radicalized French youths to Iraq in the early 2000s. Now, Islamic radicals who trained abroad and came home to stage attacks. Now, the Kouachi brothers, as we've heard, and Amadi Koulibaly are believed to be connected through a Paris mosque led by radical leader Abu Hamza. They also have suspected links to a plot to free an Algerian radical from prison. Now, the brothers admitted to a French TV network about the Yemeni al-Qaeda connection. The station also spoke with Koulibaly, who said the 3 men were cooperating and that he was with ISIL, normally an al-Qaeda rival. The 2 brothers were on the U.S. no-fly list for years. Saeed, as we've heard, the older brother, traveled to Yemen in 2011 and trained with al-Qaeda. Sharif was arrested in 2005 on terrorism charges after trying to join al-Qaeda to fight U.S. troops. Now, leaders at that radical mosque also allegedly recruited shoe bomber Richard Reed and Zacharias Moussaoui, the 20th hijacker in the 9/11 attacks. And now the hunt is on for Koulibaly's girlfriend, the biggest fear that she may try other attacks. In the satellite center, Richard Reed, ABC7 News.
All right, thank you, Rich. Our coverage of the Paris terror attacks continues on WJLA.com. And coming up at 5:30 tonight hear from French people living here in the D.C. area about what their friends and family back home are telling them about the situation in Paris. Allison.